Senior Assistant Ohio Attorney General Dan Kasaris has used illegal and underhanded tactics to imprison innocent citizens for decades. Now, local businessman Steve Holman explains, in his own words, how prosecutors Dan Kasaris and Mark Bennett altered his loan officer licensing records and used fabricated evidence in court to convince jurors that Mr. Holman worked at a mortgage company where suspect transactions occurred, even though he'd left that company several months before.
I'm Steve Holman. In 2005, I was part of the mortgage crash in Ohio. At the time, I was a mortgage broker, as in doing like a loan officer, per se. So I went to work, and when I tried to go in, the doors were locked. So I went down to the custodian and figured what was the problem, and the owner changed the locks. So when he let me in, the owner pulled up behind me and said, "What are you doing?" And he said he changed the locks because the banks called in and said that it was fraud going on, and he wanted to talk to me. So right then I resigned, I left, and when I left, there was more deals on the table with other mortgage brokers, okay? And they closed in my name. Cuyahoga County Police Department, the feds showed up at my door, said I was doing mortgage fraud, and they wanted to see me downtown. So I went downtown to check it out to see what was going on. And when I looked at the date, it showed the date when I wasn't there. And I told them that this is not me at all. And they argued, put me at the scene of the crime, and said, "Yeah, you were there." I said, "No, this is not me." And they ordered for me to take a handwriting test. And I did. I took a handwriting test in my attorney's office. 6 months later, the Solon Police Department asked me to come in and take another handwriting test. But when I went to trial, I want to use the handwriting test. It says inconclusive. It actually says Steve Holman did not write the documents here. And it is inconclusive, but for further instructions, please send us more handwriting tests or handwritings of Steve Holman. The prosecutor denied and said, "No, we don't want to use it. Throw it out." So they threw my handwriting test out. They gave me 12 years, 6 years on one house and 6 years on another, and rented consecutive. A total of 12. When I went to prison, I figured out that my not guilties were allied offenses to my guilties, which means I beat my case. I didn't know I beat it. I was unaware because of the law of allied offenses, but like I said before, my not guilties went with my guilties, and I beat the case on that. And also, I found out that during trial, my attorney said that I couldn't afford him and gave me a public defender because he kind of like squeezed me for all the money I had for 6 months. The public defender that he gave me was a guy who was under indictment for pornography because he went to the courtroom with some type of kid pornography, and they indicted him. So they put him on my case while he did a public statement stated he was sorry for doing it. And I didn't know nothing about this until I went to prison and found out through another guy that this was going on. Yeah, that's my story.
If you have information about Dan Kasaris' criminal activities, or if you would like to learn more about our investigation into rampant prosecutorial misconduct in Ohio, please contact us or submit a tip at justicefordawn.com or freetonyviola.com.